Make some pine trees today if I'm lucky. Can get all my crap together. This is kind of a start of one. The balsa trunk. And then I got the branches used from florist foam. 24 gauge. Cut them down. A little super glue and you stick it right in there. We'll cut it to size. I got to put a nail in the bottom here. Got to find something to put super glue in. What do you guys recommend for holding super glue? There we go. It's a hunk of tinfoil. Hope you guys are having a good Saturday. It's warm here. Spent all morning chopping ice. Sport of Kings here in Minnesota. Kind of reflects badly. What are you guys working on your workbench? So many times I stick my fingers in that glue. All right. Put that in there. See if I can do this on camera. Maybe not. Oops. First fail. John's working on rolling stock. Painting it, decaling it, putting together kits. There we go. So now I got something I can stick it in my scenery with here. A bunch more of these. Trees with wire. Well, partially. The branches are wire. The branches are florist wire. The trunks are balsa wood. I'll get these done and I'll show you how I stick them into the florist foam I use for a scenery base. I use that green florist foam. Works out great. Don was rail fanning. Okay. That's the odd. I haven't heard a train go by yet. Well, adding weight. What do you like to use for adding weight? There's another one. Heath went out to Amherst and he talked to those deluxe guys. And so this liquid gravity. Aim that up a little bit. I think it's like little BB pills. Little BBs in there. Can't see it too good. Need a light. But it's pretty heavy stuff. Maybe you can hear it. Yeah. Gonna try that. See how well that falls in the crack. Tacos. Where do you get good tacos? I went today to try and find some decent tacos and struck out again. I cannot find any place that serves a delicious taco. Boy, this is being a pain. Nails I'm using are too big. Making signal bridges. Dwight's been 3D printing. And I'm probably going to be the last guy to own a 3D printer. I would love one, but I don't have time for my other modeling projects. I know some things I'd like to make, but I think I'd rather just pay someone else to do it for me. But they're always making their own stuff. So. Plus, people like Bernard does such a good job of making everything anyway. So, yes, St. Louis. So, are they family-run places or are they chains? I think it all matters on what your perception of a taco actually is. Oh, I'm one before you, Kyle. 3D printer, yeah. pretty cool. They're a lot of work if you got the brain power. So let's see if I can get this book. So this is what you start with. It's just this balsa. I buy, you can buy it. I try and buy the dowels, but I've never seen where I am a balsa dowel. I only get these squares. These are like 3/4. And then I use just a X-Acto blade or a scalpel, of course, which I can't find now. Thing about it, so just like a little basic knife, it being soft balsa wood, you can just whittle, like you're on your country porch there, so you get it into the whole thing kind of in a tree shape. I just use this to get away the major corners, because you can sand it. This stuff's so soft. You try and make your little pointy tree trunk. You have to be really careful because it's so soft. This stuff is just... If you had a wood chip pile, this would be good to grind up. Fill up your scale wood chip cars. But I like making these HO, 60 to 80 feet tall. I'll make it a scale tree. The Northwoods where I model, it's probably there's some 100-footers. Let's get it basically shaped. I'll clean up my mess here. And then we'll get a little piece of sandpaper. I like these little cheapo sanding sticks. My wife was a manicurist, so she still goes to the shop and picks me up these things. And you can sand this down to pretty much a rough shape. The top doesn't matter because no one's going to see it through the branches anyway. And you just don't want a square tree out there, so don't do it like this or you'll break it. I try to keep it on something. As you can see, it creates a heck of a mess. These are the trees you do in the foreground. I wouldn't put these in the background. These are too well detailed. We got Trackside Mike checking in. Hey, Mike. We got Dwight, John, Stormy Sky. Stormy, what's your first name? I don't know if I have you on my list. I've got a list of names over here. I haven't memorized everyone like Heath has. Heath does such a good job at all of this. He makes it look too easy doing live streams. I know we all tease him a lot, but he's really, really, really good at technical aspects. All right, let's get the bottom because that's what people will see. Okay, a little less square here. These are the trees that you have to enjoy the process. You know, you're not going to make 50 of them in a day. So just kind of enjoy the process. Okay. So then, my saw. What you want here are those teeth on the bottom. And I'm going to run it down here. It makes it look like the bark on a pine tree. At least to me it does. Let's see if I can get it in focus there. Terrible camera. You can kind of see the lines on there. The carvels here, all right. Some structures. So you released another wonderful video of your construction. Thought that was amazing. Some of the things you build. Okay. We're ready to stick some branches on here. Sparky, I'm on the background. All right, Sparky, hope you're running trains. Get that Conrail going around those loops. You were on live, I'd be watching that. I love when you put the camera on the train. It's fun going for a ride on Sparky's Railroad. I like that. All right. Let's use the old cheapo glue here. I always get confused. That hobby shop that everyone likes up there in Toronto, is that Credit Valley or Otter Valley? I know there was a Credit Valley too. So now I got my, I have to find a focus point on this thing. So here we got our cut piece of forest wire. I'll dip it in some super glue and then just push it in. It goes right in the balsa. The super glue makes it stay in there for when you bend it and cut it and everything. I use pliers that are flat. They grip the wire a lot easier. Then what I've been doing is only doing 3 sides of these trees because they go up against the backdrop. So I kind of work my way around the tree here. Doesn't really matter the length that you cut these because you're going to cut them later once you have them all in there. You're going to cut them anyway. So you kind of work my way up the tree here in a spiral. Otter Valley Railroad. Okay, yeah. I didn't know. I knew it was a valley. Those guys are pretty good. It's on my list to see of hobby shops. So what else is going on with everyone? Train shows this weekend or coming up? Anybody here ever go to a RPM meet? You guys ever brought models? Or check that out? These things just stick right in. The wood's so soft. Who holds them in there? Anybody get the new railroad model Craftsman? St. Louis, Stormy was at St. Louis. St. Louis is one of the bigger ones, I think, more well attended. Cocoa Beach. Really good one. John was at the Colorado model. Oh, how'd that go? Michelle there was. See all the wonderful McCarville studio structures. I try and put these in, because the needles that I use are 4mm static grass, so they stick out a lot. So I don't put these real close to each other. The whole point of these trees is so you can see through the you can kind of see through them. They're kind of transparent, like other pine trees. Let me bring that one up. So see how you can actually see through the tree? That's kind of the cool point about these. So the more you space out the branches, the more you'll be doing that. You build a locomotive with deli. Well, yeah, I think that's the joy of our hobby is you find things you can do and then you have to learn. I was never a scenery guy. I could build and detail diesels and stuff, but came time to pour water on my layout, and I think I had the shakes. It was like never done it before, and I'm like making all kinds of tests. I'm like, oh, will this work? Is this going to melt my scenery? Is this? I think that's one of the things I like about Luke Towan was when he did water. He had an epic failure, but he shared that with all of us. Excuse me. Thank you, Wiggy. But Valley Forge RPM, I heard that's a good one too. Michelle was at meetings all day. Okay, yeah, it's kind of the life of the director. The museum in Meridian, Mississippi was run by this lovely lady called Lucy Dormont, but she just gave it up. Her family, they're moving to Memphis for better opportunities and stuff. But she was really fantastic. Walters just had her in their ad. What size dowel am I using? I would say these are probably 3/8 by 3/8. I would have liked the little smaller ones, but the hobby shop was out of them, and I buy them in the 36, inches long, and chop them up, and make a bunch of trees. I made a real tiny one for my entry into Bernard's mini print peanut butter lid contest. I had to make a tree for that. That was kind of fun. NMRX is next weekend. Okay. I know I've got an operations session in the morning on an N scale layout, a clinch field layout. This is like getting everyone in the face there. There we go. There we go. This is so reflective. I'll just move it over here. I'll move it over here. Right there, I can put my arm in it all the time. Retire, you want to go to the Enemy Train Fest, yeah. I'd like to make it out to Springfield or Amherst or whatever you call it this week. That's my goal. I even looked up flights and stuff like that. I'm trying to see if I can get to Greeley. I've got the time and the money. I just got to work it out with the home front. Kyle's never been to a large train show. You have to go to one. What train show would you guys recommend for Kyle? Would it be Springfield? It would be a NMRA train show, the national train show. Greeley or bust, yeah. It's odd. The most expensive thing about going to Greeley is the hotel. So I'm trying to see. From work, I've got points with a lot of different hotels. I think Wyndham and Hilton. I get sent around the country. There's a big train show in Madison, Wisconsin today. But it's a lot of driving. Anybody got any new stuff on order they're waiting for? Anybody order the Microtrain's balloon car? the spy balloon car? There's an opportunity for some modeling right there. Springfield, I think Springfield and Amherst are the same thing. That's why, I think that's one of the main things is, what is that show called? What is it actually? It's the actual name of the show. Is Amherst the name of the club? And Springfield's the name of the town? There we go. Attack of the group. Springfield's the name of the town? What do you guys want to see at trade shows? Do you want to talk to the manufacturers? Do you want to buy stuff? You want to? I think when I go, I always like looking for the little obscure companies that I don't get to see all the time. You know, that I don't recognize. Yeah, I go to Denver and drive to Greeley, a long drive. I don't think it's that long. Maybe that's the Midwestern in me, is that 4 hours isn't a long drive. I always thought Greeley was south of Denver, but now I realize it's between Denver and Cheyenne. But there's so many direct flights out of where I live in Minnesota to Denver on Southwest that the flights are dirt cheap. But the hotel is the hotel for as many days, because I think I'd like to get there Thursday just to get settled in and then not leave till Monday, because I don't want to run around Sunday trying to say goodbye to people and other things like that. I think some people are driving out there, aren't they? I don't know if anybody. Denver to Greeley and back, an hour each way. I think Denver, the airport to anywhere is an hour. I'm just like, that town is terrible for traffic. Yeah, Minnesota. And Bernard is here. Hello, Bernard. Put away the horses. It's kind of neat. Got to watch this morning and look at his horses. Thought that was interesting. Especially that large one. 8 hours. So it's 8 hours from Salt Lake. Have to see what car rentals are out there too. Oops, I think I've got enough points to get pretty much a free car. It's her horse. Yeah, I remember that. No, it's not your horse. It's your wife's horse. It's her horse till the vet bill shows up. Then it's the family horse. $12-13 hours for me. Pre-drilled holes. No. Because it's balsa, it's so soft. You know, you can literally, put a finger impression in there and just, by dipping this in the super glue and then just lightly pushing, in it goes. I'm amazed a balsa tree can even stand up. So the Rocky Mountain Train, I don't know if we're talking about the Rocky Mountain Train Show or the TSG get together. What are you guys calling it? I think it's a TSG get together. We're all going to try and learn how to pronounce John's last name. And have some fun with that. You heard Denver. Yeah, Denver. I think that's where, because we can't fly into Greeley, is what people are saying. Is that true? I know you can fly into Boulder. Company I used to work for before the railroad was headquarters in Boulder. We used to go there. Denver, Pennsylvania. There's a Denver, Pennsylvania. I learned that the lowest portion of Colorado is still higher in elevation than the highest point in Pennsylvania. It's kind of odd. You think, well, the mountains in Pennsylvania, that wouldn't be right. But first time in Colorado. You're going to get narrow gauge fever, Bernard. You're going to be done for. People go out there and they see those narrow gauge trains, and then they just throw away everything they have and start modeling the Rio Grande. It's kind of sad. Get in there. Mile High City, yeah. Yeah, I was just in Denver, I think September or October. Out there. It was September because we went up to Moffat Tunnel and they had snow up there. Lots and lots of snow. All right, see if I can find some smaller ones here. Space out the top here. Nope, where'd that one go? There it was. Alrighty. Anybody going to the National Convention in Dallas? Anybody thought of it? In Dallas, Texas in August. That sounds great, doesn't it? I think I'd rather go to Sioux Lookout in February. But okay. So there is. I know it doesn't look like much now, but I can stick some in the bottom here now. All right. There's my little anchor in the bottom. And with that, I can stuff it into florist foam. and it stands up. Mount Davis, 3,200 feet in Pennsylvania. So now we got to find what's the lowest point in Colorado. I don't know if you heard us talking about you last night, Bernard, if your ears were burning. We had a discussion, our live Friday Night Lives, about manufacturers and paying for quality and, what is quality worth to you. And we talked about, everybody thinks they don't mind paying for the quality, but when something goes wrong, they want some things fixed. And mini prints came up a number of times as something went wrong and it was fixed right away. People received broken prints or something like that you have fixed the issue immediately. And you're talking about some other manufacturers could use a little bit of mini prints hospitalities. We were kind of discussing it as Scale Trains came out with that video talking about things that went wrong and with their models coming overseas, and they had to send some back and they were apologizing. And we had another one of our panelists, William Sampson. Father, they paid for a brass caboose, and the model was exquisite. It was the right color. It was a Great Northern one, but the lettering was all wrong. And the caboose was costing about as much as a HO scale engine with DCC. It's a brass. And the only thing that they offered was, well, you can send it back, we'll give you your money back, but there was no fixing it. So it's kind of like, what do you do then? How could you offer a caboose, in the $500 price range and not get the lettering correct? I mean, completely different fonts and sizes and logos. So it's quite odd. So I think that today separates the manufacturers are the ones that are willing to handle the problems, because everybody has problems, everybody has issues, things go south. I think we're all forgiving in that, but how you respond in those times says a lot about who you are and who your company is. Off to dinner. All right, Don, what are you having for dinner? Hand grips. see if I can get this again. Gnarly pine tree base. You can up close. You can see the little ribs. So it does look like a pine tree after you go at it with that brush. Covered with dust. Yeah. And you're 100% right, Bernard. And I think, especially when you're offering something that's hundreds and hundreds of dollars, you would kind of hope that somebody, would be honored to fix it. And I know things happen in shipping, and I think that's where I've seen a lot of things where it gets mushed up. There's not much manufacturers have control over the shipping company. Piece of wire here for my flat card. Yeah, that's it. Undo all your hard work. That's a good way to put it. Yeah. You can imagine what happens to your Rapido diesel or your Athearn Genesis. It's like, I don't know how, no matter how well you pack it. There's some wonderful products out there. I do like that social media, such as YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, other things. We've gotten to know, the faces behind these companies that for so long no one ever knew. It's like we all know George at Soundtracks now, and we know the guys from Rapido, Jason and his wonderful creative crew, do videos, and we know over at Athearn, they put on a weekly show, What's New, and I think that helps. I don't know. I think some other people take advantage of that. There we go. We want a video of that, Dwight. So put that on Bernard's website. I think that should be the next contest, Bernard, of who can run down the street the best, yelling, "I've got mini prints." I'd probably want to run down the street like the pirate in Pirates of the Caribbean there. That'd be funny. Yeah, absolutely. I think it makes the manufacturers more approachable, if that's the correct term. You see them at a show, you're not you're not apprehensive like I can't go talk to that guy. I'd like to see Atlas and Walters take on a more of a video presence. I'm surprised Walters hasn't. They they seem to like uh, they seem to like having video. You think they would do it for more than their build off. They could do so much more with the months and weeks leading up to the build off. And I think you do something well, Bernard, that a couple have tried, but they need to get back on it, is customer involvement, right? With the peanut butter lid contest. And Athern did a wonderful one. And they have their ready to weather models. And I think 2 summers ago during the showstopper, they listed a specific cars, and then they had a little contest and see who could take their cars and weather them up. And that was a lot of fun because you got participation, you got content for a couple shows, you got content for advertising, right? Keep hoping they do it again. But I think your peanut butter lid every now and then is genius, absolute genius. Because I like when you give people modeling projects that are, just a couple of evenings work. It's nothing real serious. And I always think people should have 3 projects they're working on at a time. One long-term project, one short-term project, and then one middle one. And peanut butter lid is certainly a good short-term project here. I think I destroyed my pad here. Let's see how we do that. All right, let's bring this down to this end, and I can stick them in here. I got a porcupine tree. Yeah, only 3. Well, that's what I'm saying. I do think if you get more than 3 projects, you get burnout. This is just from my thing. I think when you have so much irons in the fire, you don't know which way to go. And so that way, if you do something like, I just want to do a little knockoff to do the scenery lid because you have to complete it. And I think being human beings, we like to see sense of completion on something. And that might fire us up to go complete something else. March 1st, that'll be there. Be there. I can spell it right here. All right. Here we go. Let's see if I can get it in here. There we go. There we go. All right. Yeah, I will probably do the couple live streams. Next one, I'll do the branches on there, and I'll show you how I add the static grass. Take these outside and paint them tonight. We have nice weather, over 35 degrees Fahrenheit. So yep, this is what we do. We maintain equipment and 15,000 projects. Well, it's showing off. Of course, I shouldn't. I think if I don't even want to count up my projects that I think I'm going to do in my lifetime. That might be a good basis for a show in itself. Is what's not on your workbench. But here's a good question though: is when do you give up that project? When do you realize I'm never going to get to this, so it's time to sell it or give it away or trash it? What do you ever do that, or are you leaving that for your kids to find when you pass away? I don't know. I've had a few that I'm like, I'm never going to build this. I don't care how much time I have, I'm never going to get the old round to it. And so how is your layout coming along? I think you have more layout updates than me. Alrighty. So 6:30. I've got 6:32. All right, we'll go another 15 minutes here, and then we'll. I think there's some other people got shows on at 7. And I can go see what other chores my lovely bride has for me on this weekend. If not, I can work on my models for our upcoming shows. Anybody got any new models on their workbench? I don't know if anybody paints or decals anymore at all. I'll fill in a couple holes there. I like putting some down here at the bottom, and these will be the dead branches. I won't put any needles on them. You've all seen the dead branches on the pine trees. I'll just paint them gray. That way I can stick a mini Prince owl on them or something like that. And, make them droop down. So like, so this one's 13 inches. So that's a pretty tall tree. That'll be in the background up against the wall. We got a couple areas left of scenic. You got the pin in the bottom. What I use for the bottom are just these nails. And then I just cut off the top. Let's see how we did that. Yeah. And then that just sticks into the balsa wood. Works really good. I don't even want to think about just installing an N scale. Project stalled for 24 years. You know, it might be time. That might be time to take that to the flea market. I'm just saying. You might want to make that project someone else's, right? You're the guy that's had that Corvette in his garage for 24 years that he's gonna fix, right? I think I don't know about that. Of course, I might, if you looked in my drawers, I might have projects that were there for 25 years. For the last 3 layouts, you know. Look at whittle the top down here. Somewhat of a point. All right. See, now you recorded it on a live stream, so we're gonna pop that up. You should come on weekly and show us your progress now. You've said it publicly now. We gotta have these. Our L1 Mikados, are those Pennsylvanias? Correct. Yeah, I just use like a Krylon. Oop, that was a good one. Almost hit me in the head. Just simple. So to paint them, just get a flat camouflage, something gray. This was in the $2 bin. That's perfect. Because you don't really see the trunks. I'll remove your comment here. The trunk of the tree, So you just have to take down the balsa color. And so, yeah, I'll take all these outside, hit them up, let them dry overnight. And then I'll come back with etched brass cutters and trim the branches to my liking. And then we'll add the static grass. So thank you. Yeah, these are really good foreground trees. The 500 or so I have in the background are just made from furnace filters. Mostly made by my grandkids. They love trains with Papa. I'm like, all right, here's an art project. We're gonna make some trees. Just gonna try and make it a little more roundy round here. This is basically stuff I notice that other people don't. But like other moderators, I know it's there, so I'm just. You can kind of see the rough. It can look like tree bark. Yeah, 50,000. Yeah, that's I don't people ask, that's always a question people ask. So I make up a different number every time. I don't know. I don't know. But whatever size layout you have, when you're making trees, if you made 50 of them and you put them out there, you're going to look and go, I need another 50. It just eats them up. You have no idea how much layouts eat up trees. And there was a clinic online. A gentleman's building a beautiful layout of the Southern Pacific Shasta route through Oregon, Northern California. And he had the track in and the woodworking. And I asked him, I said, well, how many Douglas fir trees are you going to make to make, 50,000? And he basically said, when he dies, the last tree that the layout needs will still not be made. So, at some point you got to come up with some filler or some canopy or puffball trees. Like in the background of mine where my scenes are deeper, the furnace filter trees go in the back. They're just fillers. But I can put these right up front. And they hide a lot along with the birch trees. Half of my birch trees are just pieces of wire. I don't know if I've ever showed you guys that or ever seen that, but half of my birch trees are super trees I put a lot of time in, and then the other ones are just pieces of wire next to them. Make it look like I have 10,000 birch trees. So, all right, thanks everybody for watching. I'm going to clean up my mess here, and I think Artie or someone else is on, but I appreciate the chat. I hope you're all doing good. Nancy, I hope you're hanging in there. I know you need a new wheelchair. It's sad. So, all right, thanks everyone for the chat, and thanks for the comments.